Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. James sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the closed closet door across from him. His mother's closet. It called to him like it had so many times before. Ever since he was young, he'd felt drawn to that closet, to the feel of silky fabrics, frills, and flowing skirts. As a teenager now, James still couldn't resist the temptation to try on his mother's dresses whenever she was out of the house. He felt most confident and free when dressed in women's clothing. The house was empty today. His mother was at work and wouldn't be back for hours. James rose from the bed and walked slowly across the room. His heart pounded as he reached for the closet door and turned the knob. The scent of perfume and mothballs wafted out. James flicked on the light and gazed at the rows of dresses, blouses, and skirts before him. His fingers trailed over the silky fabrics and soft lace. He smiled to himself, already feeling that familiar sense of excitement. James selected a red and white polka dot sundress that caught his eye. He carefully took it off the hanger and laid it on the bed. After double-checking that the front door was locked, he quickly changed out of his t-shirt and jeans. The dress slipped easily over his slim frame. James turned to the full-length mirror on the back of the door. A grin spread across his face as he admired how he looked. The sundress accentuated his petite shoulders and waist. With a bit of makeup, he could really look like a woman. After selecting a pair of strappy white sandals from his mother's shoe rack, James went to the vanity table and opened the makeup kit. He applied some shimmery eyeshadow and swept mascara over his lashes. A swipe of bright red lipstick finished the look. James stepped back and examined himself in the mirror. He turned this way and that, swishing the skirt side to side. The transformation was complete. If he passed by someone on the street right now, they would surely mistake him for a woman. Feeling emboldened, James decided to take a little stroll around the house in his new outfit. He strode down the stairs, his heels clicking on the steps. In the living room, he did a playful twirl that sent the skirt fluttering up. James laughed. He felt so free and confident dressed this way, like he could truly be himself. If only he could go outside looking like this. But he knew his neighbors would gossip if they saw him, and word would surely get back to his mother. Wandering into the kitchen, James poured himself a glass of juice. He leaned against the counter and sipped it daintily. The cold liquid dripped down his chin. He dabbed at it carefully with a napkin, not wanting to smear his lipstick. After finishing the juice, James went back upstairs to his mother's closet. He selected a few more outfits to try on: a black cocktail dress, a blue blouse with a knee-length floral skirt, and a silky negligee. Slipping the clothing on, he admired each look in the mirror. He struck poses with his hand on his hip, tossing his hair back. Each outfit made him feel more beautiful and feminine. The hours flew by as James indulged in playing dress-up. Life went on like this for some time. James sighed as he stared at his reflection in the bathroom mirror. Though it had been over a decade since he used to secretly dress in his mother's clothes, he still couldn't shake the urge to cross-dress. As an adult now, he knew he should have outgrown such things. But the desire remained as powerful as ever. James splashed some water on his face and forced himself to get ready for work. He put on a crisp white button-down shirt and some slacks from his small, masculine wardrobe. As he knotted his tie, his gaze drifted over to the closet where his female clothes were hidden in a box. Just a quick browse before he left wouldn't hurt. "No," he scolded himself, snapping out of it. James hurried out the door before he could change his mind, briefcase in hand. The whole drive to the office, he griped the steering wheel tightly, trying to distract himself from his shameful thoughts. At age 28, James had a good job as an accountant at a respectable firm. His co-workers thought he was an upstanding young man, smart, polite, responsible. Little did they know that when James went home at night, his fantasies involved slipping into silky underwear and prancing around in high heels. He kept his secret dressing confined to the house, never daring to show his cross-dressing side to anyone. James was certain that if people knew, they would be disgusted. His family, friends, and girlfriend would all abandon him. He wished desperately he could stop having these urges altogether. The shame of it ate away at him daily. Arriving at the office, James put on a cheerful facade as he greeted his coworkers. He tried to focus on his work, but his mind kept drifting to the silky red dress tucked away in his closet at home. How he longed to pull it over his head, to swish the skirts around his legs. "James, everything okay?" He snapped back to reality to see his boss frowning at him. James stammered an apology and refocused on the spreadsheet in front of him, but he knew it was no use. The cross-dressing fantasies had taken hold of him again. As soon as he got home, he would give in to them. The workday dragged on endlessly. James squirmed in his seat, desperate to get home and unleash his pent-up desire to dress. When the clock finally hit 5 p.m., he bolted out the door while his co-workers were still packing up. Once home, James rushed to his bedroom closet with trembling hands. He dug out the box of women's clothing and rifled through it frantically. Choosing a slinky black dress and heels, he quickly stripped and put them on. James's shame melted away as the soft fabrics embraced his skin. He felt like his true self again. With makeup expertly applied, James was transformed. The figure staring back from the mirror was a stranger, a beautiful, confident woman. Grinning, James sashayed around his apartment, swishing his hips. He felt so free. If only he could share this side of himself with someone. But James knew the harsh reality. Cross-dressing would always have to remain his little secret. For now, he intended to enjoy it while he could. James spent the whole evening dressed up, lounging on the couch with a glass of wine. He watched movies featuring glamorous actresses and imagined himself walking the red carpet in their gowns. As midnight approached, James reluctantly changed back into his men's pajamas. He carefully tucked his dress away in the box, along with his wig, heels, and makeup. The next day, back at work, James sighed as he stared blankly at the computer screen, numbers and charts blurring together. He couldn't focus on work today, not with the silky red dress calling to him from the back of his closet at home. Ever since trying it on last night, he hadn't been able to stop thinking about how the fabric hugged his body in all the right places. The swoosh of the skirt swishing around his legs made him feel so graceful and feminine. He needed to experience that feeling again. Glancing at the clock, James realized it was only 11 a.m. He had hours left in the workday, but he knew he wouldn't get anything productive done in this state. Not with the unrelenting urge to cross-dress gnawing at him. Making a split-second decision, James grabbed his briefcase and told his boss he had a doctor's appointment. The lie rolled smoothly off his tongue before he could second-guess himself. Soon he was racing home, heart pounding with nervous excitement. Once in his bedroom, James quickly stripped off his masculine work clothes. He opened the closet and lovingly took out the red wrap dress that had consumed his thoughts all morning. Slipping it on, he secured the belt tightly around his waist. James turned to admire himself in the full-length mirror, grinning from ear to ear. There she was, his true self. The soft fabric hugged his slender curves in all the right places. He did a little twirl, watching the skirt billow out. Feeling emboldened, James decided to take his dressing up to the next level. He would go to the mall and browse the stores as his feminine alter ego. He just had to be careful no one he knew saw him. After applying some subtle makeup, James tucked his hair under a short blonde wig. A pair of low heels and a cute purse completed the look. He hardly recognized himself. The transformation was incredible. Anyone passing by would think he was a woman. With nervous excitement brewing in his stomach, James got in his car and drove to the mall. Being out in public, dressed this way, made him feel exposed and thrillingly alive all at once. He walked with feigned confidence, mimicking the sway of women's hips. James wandered into a trendy clothing boutique. He took his time browsing through the racks of dresses, skirts, and blouses. Though he already had plenty of outfits at home, he couldn't resist the temptation to try something new on. Selecting a few items in his size, James stepped into the dressing room. He slipped on a form-fitting red wrap dress first, securing the side ties. Turning to look in the mirror, a grin spread across his glossy lips. The dress complemented his petite frame flawlessly. He looked incredible, feminine, beautiful. James spent a while checking himself out from every angle, unable to stop smiling. He wished he could walk around the mall all day in this dress, feel the swish of the fabric around his legs with each step. James stepped out of the dressing room, still wearing the stunning red wrap dress. His heart pounded as he carried the dress to the sales counter.
"Will this be all for you today?"
the clerk asked with a friendly smile. James nodded, his mouth suddenly dry. He paid for the dress with cash from his wallet, hoping the clerk wouldn't examine his ID too closely. She didn't seem to notice anything amiss as she handed him the bag.
"Have a nice day,"
she said. James thanked her and walked out of the store, almost dizzy with the thrill of what he had just done. He had bought a dress in public while dressed up as a woman himself, and no one suspected a thing. Feeling emboldened, James decided to explore the mall some more. He stopped at the makeup counter and bought a new eyeshadow palette and lip gloss. The female sales associate complimented him on his look, making James blush with pride. As he walked around in his new dress and heels, James started to relax. No one was giving him strange looks or questioning why a man was dressed in women's clothing. He was just another shopper enjoying their day. James grabbed a pretzel from the food court and sat down to people watch. Seeing all the fashionable women go by, he realized he fit right in. With his wig, makeup, and outfit, he looked like any other girl out with friends or on a shopping trip. For the first time, James didn't feel that underlying sense of shame about cross-dressing in public. Here, in the bustling anonymity of the mall, he could truly be himself. After eating, James went into a high-end department store. He took his time browsing through the shoe section. He smiled to himself, imagining wearing a different pair of heels every day of the week. For now, he selected a pair of strappy white sandals that matched his dress perfectly. At the jewelry counter, James tried on some bracelets and earrings. He admired how the dangling silver earrings accentuated his slender neck. Though he couldn't justify buying them, it was fun to dress up even more. Nearing the exit, James passed the perfume section. He picked up sample sticks of a few floral scents. Spritzing them on his wrists and neck made him feel even more feminine and put together. As the afternoon wore on into early evening, the mall became more crowded. James soaked up the energy all around him, friends laughing together, couples holding hands, teenagers showing off new outfits. He was just another girl out living her life. Over the next few weeks, visiting the mall dressed up became a regular escape for James. Every Tuesday and Thursday evening after work, he would drive to the mall and spend hours browsing through the women's clothing stores. He rotated which wig he wore each time, alternating between shoulder-length blonde hair, a short sassy bob, or loose curls. Coordinating his makeup and outfit to match whichever wig, James looked like a different woman on each trip. In the dressing room, he would meticulously try on outfit after outfit, swishing the skirts, admiring how the fabrics hugged his petite frame in the mirror. James got a thrill from carrying the items he planned to purchase up to the sales counter. The clerks never showed any suspicion about his identity. To them, he was just another female customer. Today, James was trying on dresses as usual. He selected a navy wrap dress with a ruffled hem that caught his eye. Slipping it on, he turned this way and that. The wrap style accentuated his narrow waist. James grinned at his reflection. He couldn't wait to wear this dress around the mall. After purchasing the dress, James changed into it in the restroom. Looking in the mirror, he tidied his blonde wig and touched up his lip gloss. With a spritz of floral perfume, his transformation into his female alter ego was complete. Stepping out of the restroom, James walked with grace, one foot directly in front of the other like a runway model. The ruffled hem of his new dress swished around his knees. He clasped his purse close to his side, trying to look as natural and feminine as possible. James browsed leisurely through the mall, enjoying the energy all around. He stopped at a candle shop and inhaled the sweet scents, chatting casually with the salesgirl. No one gave him a second glance. To the outside world, he was just another woman out shopping. Feeling confident, James decided to go to the food court and get a snack. He joined the queue at a pretzel kiosk, smiling politely at the man in front of him who glanced his way. Waiting for his pretzel, James crossed one ankle behind the other and leaned against the counter in a delicate pose.
Here's your pretzel, miss,
the server said, handing James the warm snack. He paid and thanked the man in a higher-pitched voice. James grinned as he walked away. Even his voice passed convincingly as female now. Sitting alone at a table, James crossed his legs daintily as he ate the pretzel. He stretched his neck tall and kept his back straight, mimicking the posture of women he saw all around the mall. The more time he spent in public dressed up, the more natural it felt. After eating, James stopped at the MAC makeup counter. "Finding everything okay, hun?" a salesgirl asked. James nodded, not used to being called such feminine nicknames. It thrilled him. He bought a smoky eyeshadow palette and some new brushes. The salesgirl grinned, leaning in close. "These colors are going to look gorgeous on you," she gushed. "Have fun playing with your new makeup." James smiled back. "I will, thanks so much," he replied in a perky tone. James left the makeup store feeling as if he were walking on air. Interacting with others as a woman gave him such a rush. He felt beautiful, graceful, confident, everything he wished he could feel in his daily life as a man. But only in dress-up did he truly come alive. Not ready for the night to end, James decided to extend his mall trip a little longer. He spent a while browsing in the shoes department, admiring the rows of stilettos, though he knew he could never walk properly in heels that high. Still, a boy could dream. Nearing closing time, James popped into one last store, Victoria's Secret. His pulse quickened as he browsed through the lacy bras and underwear. Though he had plenty at home, he couldn't resist picking out a few new pieces. James browsed the pajama section, feeling the silky fabrics. He selected a short black nightie, the hem lined with fluttering lace. Just imagining wearing it to bed gave him a little thrill. James couldn't wait to get home later to try everything on. At the cash register, the salesgirl chatted with James about their underwear deals as she rang him up. James joined right in, keeping his voice soft and feminine. She folded his purchases into a pastel-striped bag with tissue paper. "Have a great night, miss," she said with a smile as James left the store. Approaching the mall exit, James floated along feeling like he was walking on a cloud. The thrill of shopping for such intimate feminine things in public was indescribable. For those few precious hours, he truly felt like one of the girls. The next evening after work, James eagerly got ready for his next mall trip. He had a fun new outfit in mind, a flirty polka dot skirt paired with a ruffled blouse. After shaving his legs smooth, James rolled on nude thigh-high stockings. He stepped into a lacy thong and matching bra. Looking in the mirror, James smiled as he styled his blonde wig and playful pigtails. He swept on dramatic cat-eye eyeliner and dabbed his lips with frosted pink gloss. Spritzing perfume down his neck and wrists completed his transformation. James hardly recognized himself staring back. He looked so authentically feminine. Arriving at the mall, James walked in confidently. The swish of his skirt and click of low heels on the tile floor made him feel graceful and feminine. He clutched his purse close to his side as he browsed the stores. James noticed a few men's eyes linger on him as he passed. He held his head high, enjoying their gazes. To them, he was just an attractive woman, not a man in disguise. James's confidence grew more each time strangers perceived him as female in public. He stopped at a handbag kiosk, admiring the stylish purses on display. "Can I help you find anything?" the salesman asked. James smiled. "Just browsing, thank you," he replied in a bubbly tone. Moving through the mall, James window shopped leisurely. He got an iced coffee and sipped it daintily as he walked. With each interaction, he perfected his feminine mannerisms more. The more time he spent dressed up in public, the more natural it felt. James noticed a new boutique had opened, Charming Charlie. He wandered inside, instantly drawn to their colorful clothes and accessories. He took his time browsing, feeling fabrics and trying on jewelry. James chatted casually with the salesgirl, asking her opinion on different earrings that caught his eye. Though he loved his extensive dress collection at home, James couldn't resist trying on a few items: a flirty halter top, a flowy maxi skirt, and some shorts that showed off his smooth-toned legs. Admiring himself in the mirror, James felt confident and carefree in a way he rarely did as a man. He purchased a lacy bralette and matching undies on his way out. "Thanks for shopping with us, sweetie," the salesgirl called out. James left the store beaming, hardly believing he had just bought such feminine underthings in broad daylight, and no one suspected a thing. The mall was busier tonight. James blended right in with all the groups of chatting girls. He pretended he was meeting up with friends too, smiling and waving politely at other shoppers who made eye contact. Over the next month, James fell into a comfortable routine: work, home, and then to the mall several evenings a week, dressed up to shop. His confidence grew each time strangers perceived him as a woman. He took more risks, chatting casually with salespeople, getting his makeup done at cosmetic counters. The more James interacted with others as his feminine alter ego, the more validated he felt. He lived for those precious hours at the mall where he could simply be one of the girls. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.